the shit's gonna go down at this venue. It's a horror movie, and the horror occurs at this venue, where after their set, which I really liked how they showed a concert like that working, how it plays out. It reminds me of when I used to go to live shows, when all of us used to go to live shows, because we can't now, thanks to that COVID. Hello there, and welcome to Blockbuster Review. If you don't know what it is where I play a single game of Tetris Marathon and Tetris 99 and try to review a film before I reach 150 lines, or the lines reach all the way to the top and I lose the game. Spoilers at 50 usually. Anyway, here we go. So the film Green Room came out a little while ago, fun little indie horror movie that I liked quite a bit when it first came out. I believe I saw it during a challenge where I had to watch a new film for each day of the year back in 2016. Is that when it came out? I don't know. Should have done some research before I started this. And now my dog is coughing. Of all the fucking times in the world to start doing that, he hasn't made a peep until just now. Anyway, Green Room. It is the story of a band called the Ain't Rights, who are traveling in the Pacific Northwest, I believe. They came out for a specific show that was put together by a gentleman who is a punk rocker. They are a punk band. He has very large spikes and tries to take care of them. It's very DIY. They clearly don't have that much money. The beginning of the movie shows them, siphoning gas just to get to their destination. The show that they originally were supposed to be there for, I guess the venue got canceled, so we got like this other show at this restaurant that looked pretty terrible. Pretty shitty show. Anyway, the point is he gets them another makeup show because they need money to get home, which they just openly admit. We can't afford to even get back home unless we basically steal gas all the way there. The guy gets them a makeup show at a venue that knowingly is run by neo-Nazis. The guy who gets the show for him says, I got a contact there, it's my cousin. He plans on coming here with his girlfriend later, but you can fill in for a show they have over there. It's a metal show, but you guys should fit right in, play heavier stuff. Really, the point is, the shit's gonna go down at this venue. It's a horror movie, and the horror occurs at this venue, where after their set, which I really liked how they showed a concert like that working, how it plays out. It reminds me of when I used to go to live shows, when all of us used to go to live shows, because we can't now, thanks to that COVID. But after they get done with their show, they get their shit out of the green room, and then they accidentally have to go back in. One of them does, because they left their phone inside the room. And when they go in the room, they witness a murder. One of the other bands straight up murdered a woman inside the green room, and they have now witnessed it. Unfortunately for the band, the band then calls the cops with the phone. Well, one of the characters does with the phone that he just got out of the green room. And now there's very high tension situation because the guy who seems to run the club is not letting him leave. He has called somebody to help deal with the situation. I didn't mention who's in this movie. I'm doing a terrible job in this review. That's just me. Oh, wow, I am playing Tetris terribly. It's all falling apart. He calls a guy who owns the club, which we find out through great expositional dialogue in this movie. A weird thing to praise a movie for, I think, but the way that they explain everything through the dialogue, I think, is pretty good. I catch it. I mean, if it was really good, I think you wouldn't catch it, but I caught it, but I think they convey a lot of information very succinctly and very well through the dialogue. Anyway, that was a weird thing to bring up right now. What I should have brought up is who's in this movie. So, this is one of the last movie of Anton Yelkin. Don't know if I'm saying his name right, which is disrespectful because he has passed on. He got ran over by his own car. It's not funny. It's really fucked up. You should look up the story. But he's in it. Oh my gosh, we're already into spoilers. I'm not going to spoil too much of this movie because I think you really should see it, and spoiling would kind of ruin the mystery because Anton Yelchin is in the band, so is Aaliyah Shawkat, I believe I'm saying that right, hopefully, who's in Search Party, and most notably Arrested Development as Maybe. And you're not sure why they won't let them leave. It's very odd. Like, a situation like that happens, they're a punk band, they like kind of imply that they've seen some shit. They won't say anything, they'll just go, they'll leave it alone. And then there's a talk about the gun. There's a gun in the room, and what do we do with the gun? And we just need the gun because the gun's not registered. And then there's kind of this standoff in the green room. They are now basically using their only leverage, which is they're in a room that has no exit, but they're in their place. They shut down the show, and then it becomes pretty clear that they need to get them out of there. And I don't know, and you're not sure how they're going to do it. You're not sure why. They cover up the stabbing. It's very clever how they do that. It's just a question of who is going to break, and obviously it's going to be the band, not the neo-Nazis, which that's the scariest part of this movie, in my opinion. Knowing that there are groups, like this group in this movie, of neo-Nazis that are so organized, so without any empathy or even questioning of what needs to be done, in quotes, that what they orchestrate and do and plan to do with this band that just saw one of their own, do a horrible thing, and now they have to do all these terrible things to multiple people just to cover up that crime, and the terrible things they'll do to each other. It's an insane movie. Anyway, pretty interesting, I would say, mystery aspect, because, at least for me, I'm wondering what the hell are they hiding about this building? Why can't they let them leave? What's the reasoning behind all the secrecy? What's the reasoning behind the slight, very specific moves they make? And, I mean, I'm at 125, so, I mean, spoiler territory is long past. You know, they attack these kids. It's very claustrophobic, it's very gritty, very realistic in terms of, gore, and that's also something. It is gory, but I don't think it's gratuitously gory. I just think it's honest to what's gonna happen. If, slightly spoiler, if you take a, wow, I'm running out of time. If you take a, X-Acto knife and cut a dude all the way up his stomach and press hard, it's gonna make some not good-looking things. And the stuff that happens in this movie, very realistic in terms of what would happen to your body if it happened. And it's very dark, very, very tense. It's just an awesome movie. I recommend watching it at least once. I've seen it twice because it is on Netflix right now. I'm considering buying it because it's something that I kind of wish more people would see, and that's kind of like the only way I've noticed that I mean, it's not nice to pressure your friends, but it's like, hey, got the Blu-ray, here it is, definitely watch it once. It's worth a watch, and I think that's the mark of a good movie now. You can talk about the great things about it, you can talk about what you like, you can talk about this, that, and the other, but the real thing is, do you think it's worth the time? Because we have so much shit we could be watching on so many different streaming services. This is a weird way to end this. Anyway, point is, go watch it. I'm basically done. I'm just prolonging the inevitable. Good movie, good times. Green Room, check it out on Netflix right now. Don't feel like I talked about it enough. Have a good one.